Let's check out the Gamesir Collide. This is the new Gamesir Collide, and it's called Collide because it's got kaleidoscopic lights, apparently. But yeah, this is the new wired controller, and it has got the boom Xbox stamp of approval on it, and it also comes with a 1-month Game Pass Ultimate key inside the box as well. So yes, this is a wired controller for the Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, and Windows 10 and 11, and yes, it does work on the Steam Deck because I'm going to show you. And here's our sponsor for today's video, and that is TomToc. This is the TomToc Wanderer T26 Daily Sling, which is a 5.5 litre travel bag, essentially for all your goodies. It fits the Steam Deck, the Asus ROG Ally, the Nintendo Switch, pretty much anything you can imagine. There's compartments all over the place. It's a really premium feeling, like over-the-shoulder sling, and I really like it. I've been using this when I go down and film the podcast with AJ, and it's been protecting my gear. We're big fans of TomToc, so head over and check out their link down in the description. So let's see what's inside the box, shall we? We get one very long and nice braided USB-A to USB-C cable for the controller. We get a cleaning cloth and our 1-month Xbox Game Pass Ultimate key. And then inside the box, we get the controller. Now, I've not even looked at this one, I must be honest, because I know it's exactly the same as the Flux one, and that's the one I've been using, but this is just the standard Collide. Here is the Collide, and here is the Collide Flux. Now, bearing in mind, this one has all the lights on, but basically the difference is it's like got gold accents and stuff instead of not gold, which is what the Collide standard has. It's just black with the same lights and all that good stuff. Now, this controller is wired, so it is not wireless. You've got a USB-C port on the top, and then you get this really nice braided premium cable here with a cable tidy, which I definitely like because I don't like non-tidy cables, right? We've got a 3.5mm audio jack on the base, and we can control that with the M button. We do have an M button as well, which can do various things that we'll look at as well. We've got 2 M buttons on the back, which they call R buttons. So these are like programmable back paddles, essentially, with button reassign, which is awesome. We've got these lovely Hall effect sensing triggers on the back as well, and we've got our bumpers on the top, we've got our face buttons, we've got our standard start, select, whatever they call them nowadays, and our share button, and of course this has got the boom, licensed by Xbox stamp of seal of approval. We do have an Xbox button, so with your Xbox consoles and on the PC, this is going to work as well, which is awesome. And I forgot to say, it does work with the Gamesir Nexus app as well, and that lets you create custom profiles, change pretty much everything, but I can't show you because these are pre-release units and the app didn't recognize them. So I'm going off the fact that these are pre-release, so sadly I can't show you that, but just take my word for it. Oh, and that app is available on Xbox and on PC as well. This is the Collide Flux, which is exactly the same as the original one. It's just got gold accents on it instead, and a slightly different background, so you can see through the transparentness, right? This is like a circuit board, but this one has got like all these little wiggly bits inside, which I just thought was cool, so that's why I'm looking at the Flux today, but it's exactly the same, but right, other than some aesthetical choices. But the controller itself has got this really nice transparent plastic, so you can actually see the motors, you know, the rumble motors there swinging around as well, and then it goes into gloss, which is all under here. So underneath this you can see all that cool pattern and stuff, but the rest of the controller is actually like frosted, as well as having these grips on the back. So it does have like plastic grips in it as well, so you can feel the controller and make sure it doesn't slip out of your hands. And I've not had any issues, even though there's no rubber on this, it's just straight up plastic. I've not had any issues with sweaty hands or anything. Me and AJ have been playing Diablo 4 with one of our members, Temporous, on the channel, and I've been using this a lot, and I've not had any sort of like loose grips or anything like that. But yeah, design wise, I actually aesthetically like the look of this. We have our classic D-pad there in gold as well, and along with the Hall effect analog triggers, we do have Hall effect sensing joysticks as well. So we've got Hall effect sensing joystick, Hall effect sensing analog triggers just there, which are super sensitive, by the way, and you can even turn these into hair triggers as well if you really want to do that, right? Let's get on to the lighting, which is where they get the name Collide from, kaleidoscope lighting. So I can press the M button and press up, and that's going to increase the brightness all the way up to the top. If I press left, nothing's going to happen, but if I press right, I can change the RGB. Now, if I went left again, that's going to go back to that mode that it was on, which is just how I've been using it, just like this. But if I press M right once, it's going to change the effect of the light. If I press M and right again, changing the effect of the light. M right again, changing the effect of the light. And I think that's it. You've got 4 different modes, which I think's pretty cool. Let's leave it on this one, why not? And let's just kind of go over how everything feels, shall we? So the sticks themselves are lovely. They're really nice. They've got really good grip on the top just there. They are super duper grippy. And even though there's no metal like anti-friction ring underneath the actual joystick, there are anti-friction rings around, and they are buttery smooth. Like, these are some of the smoothest joysticks I have felt. Like, I don't know how they've done it, but these are really, really smooth. Like that a lot. We've got the D-pad, and the D-pad is okay. It protrudes a lot, so there's a lot of protrusion. It's got a concave on it as well, and it's not clicky either, and it's not like overly mushy, but I do find it a little tiny bit stiff, but maybe that will free up over time. The face buttons just here, we have gold accents on this one because this is the Flux, right? And these are pretty good in terms of feel. This is what they sound like. So they're not loud and clicky or anything like that. They are more like dampened buttons on the front just here, but they don't have a lot of pre-travel at all. Actually say there's none, and the same with there's no post-travel. This whole controller is very like quick to actuate. Like the buttons are fast and the triggers are really quick as well. Like I've definitely noticed that. And then we have the bumpers, which again, no unwanted travel on there whatsoever. Really nice bumpers. And then we've got the triggers, the analog triggers. Now these are hyper sensitive. Like I said, me and AJ have been playing Diablo 4, and I just was resting my hands on the triggers and then it was firing. Even though I didn't have it on hair trigger mode, I just had it on like normal mode, right? And just barely resting my finger on it was firing. So some of you will see that as a really good thing because they are freaking fast to actuate. It's like, pew, you know, like super quick. Some of you might want a little bit more cushion in there so that you can rest your hands on it. But ultimately, I see this as a good thing because you don't have to press it all the way down to the bottom for it to then actuate. It is precise. So now let's take a look at this M button. So if we hold M and up and down on the Xbox, that's going to increase or decrease the volume of your game by just using this shortcut, which I really like. But there's one more, which is mad, is you can press this M button and left and right, and that's actually going to change the voice chat. So if you've got a headset plugged in here and you're using that to talk to people, right? You can hold M, press left and right on the D-pad, and it will either increase the voice chat volume whilst decreasing the game volume, or the other way around. So you can decrease voice chat and increase game volume just via the controller. I think that's pretty mental. And if you do have a headset plugged into this port on the base just here, you can hold the M button for a while and then it will just mute like solidly. Hold it again and it will unmute. Or what I really like is you can like press it for like a second or whatever just to mute. So if you're going to shout to someone through the door like, oi, you know, you can press and hold that M button and it will stop everyone from hearing you. Now with the hair trigger mode that I said about as well, what we can do is we can press M and hold the trigger down for 2 seconds. It's going to vibrate like that to say, hey, you're in hair trigger mode now. And then that's going to be super fast. And you can see how the light changes because it's in hair trigger mode. So as soon as I touch that, bam. So I've not been using that, to be honest, because I find them super quick to actuate anyway. But you can see like I barely touch that and it's blinking to say that I'm using it. So for FPS games, like if you're playing Call of Duty or whatever, then this is going to be really good. Now pressing the M button again and holding it down again for a few seconds, it vibrates and then goes back to normal to say like, oh, hey, you're out of that mode now. But we also have these 2 back buttons as well. So you can see on my game just here, I'm playing Tales of Gamesir Zal, right? I can press this back button and that is going to use my power just there because I've already set it to X, right? So what you need to do is press and hold M and hold that back paddle, right? And then I can just press it again. And now I've unassigned it, so there's nothing on there. So I press that back paddle, nothing's happening. But if I press hold M and that back paddle and then press X, right? And then press it again. Now that back paddle is pressing X for me. And what I really love about this is that it's got true button swap. So if I press it once, you can see he's just like doing one move. But if I press and hold it, it's actually going to act as you know, like my superpower sort of thing. So it's registering that I'm pressing and holding it, as well as doing like small inputs. So that's what I deem true button swap, and this has it. That's a really good thing. And again, going back to that Xbox button on the Xbox or PC, you can just press that and it will bring up your Xbox menu. Obviously on the Steam Deck, it brings up like the Steam menu, so it's assigned to that, which is awesome. I really like that they've got that dedicated Xbox button on there for you to be able to use that. But that's one of my downsides for using third-party Xbox controllers on the PC, like older ones, is if they didn't have that Xbox button, then I had to like go to the computer and open up the menu, you know what I mean? Whereas with this, playing Diablo 4 on my PC, on my laptop, I could just press this and away we go. It's really, really good. And going back to those Hall Effect analog sticks, yes, these do have Hall Effect joysticks, and like I said, they are buttery smooth. But Hall Effect, if you don't know what that is, basically uses magnets instead of friction to do the inputs, right? And what that means is it's not going to get drift. They're much quicker to actuate, and they have lower dead zone as well. And yeah, these are brilliant sticks. These are really, really good joysticks. Like them a lot. But there is one slightly small downside that I found to this controller. I'm sorry, Gamesir. I'm sorry, I have to say it. And that is because I've got sort of like medium hands for a guy. But when I'm playing with this controller, what I've noticed is when I'm holding it, I naturally want to press start here. And because I normally use my official Xbox Ultimate controller on my laptop, right? And I just find that I can press start and select just here, or whatever they're called nowadays, right? But with this one, you can see that actually they're really high up. So when you're playing, I'm going to press the button and I'm like, oh, and then I have to look and press the button to go to start. And the same with select, because this stick is really high, I find I ended up brushing past the stick. But that's my only downside really here with this. I do hope that they release this as like a wireless version as well. That'd be really cool. And there's one thing I forgot to say as well in my spec rundown. This is, I'm going all over the place here. This does have gyro as well, but it also has vibration, rumble, which is what I call it. And you can see the rumble motors if I, start shooting stuff. You can see them spinning around here, and it's not horrible rumble. It's nice, heavy, slow rumble, which I much prefer. So now let's see if you can hear this rumble. You might not, but let's just see. So it's a nice, heavy, swoopy rumble instead of like a horrible, buzzy, tinny, horrible rumble, you know? So what are my thoughts on the Gamesir Collide? Well, I actually really like it. I like it more now that I've used it for longer as well, because at first I thought like the lights and stuff maybe a bit like gimmicky for me. Sometimes I'm like, oh, there's too much RGB, but I actually kind of like it. I think it looks pretty cool, and if you don't like it, you can turn it off. But I like this frosted sort of plate and then the gloss plate on the top, which shows all the stuff underneath it. I just think it's a pretty cool design, to be honest. I love the fact that this is a licensed Xbox controller with that Xbox button. It's got amazing Hall Effect sensing joysticks and triggers and everything. It's got rumble, it's got gyro. It basically has everything you want, including the true button swap on the back just here, other than wireless. That's the only thing. And that's why I wish that it has like a wireless sibling at some point. But again, all these options with the voice chat and having the 3.5mm jack on the back and stuff, this could be a really good Xbox controller for you, depending on whether you're in the market for another Xbox controller or not, or if you want it wired. That's my thoughts on the Gamesir Collide. What do you think of it? Let me know down in the comments. And whilst you're down there, like this video and subscribe. If you really liked it, then become a member and you can see these videos early, and you can also join our private Discord where you can talk to me and AJ and everyone else in there as well. Now, whilst you're here, go and check out our podcast where me and AJ talk about all things gaming over here, and check out another video from me over here. Anyway, bye.